welcome to my channel. I'm Alexa. Today we're making gluten-free, allergy-free apple cinnamon bread. I've measured out all my ingredients and I recommend that you do so too. You can find a full list of ingredients and measurements in the link in the description. Remember to watch the video first so you can be prepared. To start, I'm going to roast my apples. To do this, I first cut my apples into 1-inch cubes. They don't need to be exact, they'll taste good no matter what. Then I'm going to add in my cinnamon and lemon juice. I'm going to mix these until my apples are completely coated. Then I'm going to put my apples in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. My apples took 39 minutes to bake. When they're done, they should be golden brown. Next, I'm going to sift my garbanzo fava bean flour, potato starch, arrowroot, baking powder, baking soda, xanthan gum, and cinnamon. This is to make sure there are no clumps. If you don't have a sifter, you can use a wire whisk or a fork. When you're sifting, you can push the ingredients through using a rubber spatula or a spoon, or you can tap the sides of it with your hands. Now that my ingredients have all fallen through, I'm going to tap the sides of my sifter so I can make sure no ingredients are stuck to the stand of my sifter. If your sifter doesn't have a stand, you don't need to do this step. Next, I'm going to add in my salt and sugar. I'm going to whisk them into these ingredients. If you don't have a wire whisk, you can use a fork. Next, I'm going to add my coconut oil, applesauce, and hot water. It's important that the water is hot so it'll melt the coconut oil. To heat the water, you can heat it on the stove or in a microwave. I'm going to mix this in my stand mixer until it's fully combined. I noticed that some of my flour has climbed the sides of my bowl, so I'm going to scrape it down with my rubber spatula. I'm also going to scrape the bottom of my bowl and the beater of my stand mixer to make sure all the ingredients are incorporated. I'm going to restart my mixer so those ingredients can mix in. My batter looks great, so I'm going to move on to the next step. Now I'm going to add in my roasted apples. I'm going to stir them into my batter using my rubber spatula. I'm going to separate a quarter cup of my batter and put it in another bowl. This batter will become my cinnamon swirl. Next, I'm going to add in my sugar and cinnamon into my separate batter. I'm going to mix this until it's combined. Now I'm going to put my batter into my loaf pan that I put coconut oil on. That will prevent it from sticking to the pan. Next, I'm going to add in my cinnamon batter. I'm going to put it in a line down the middle of my loaf. Then I'm going to use a spoon to swirl it. To swirl it, run the spoon through the batter to blend it. Don't stir it, otherwise the batter will all come together. You want to have the cinnamon mixture to have its own identity in the cake. I find it easier at times to swirl using a knife, so I'm going to show you how to use a knife to swirl too. To do that, just run the knife in a wave through the batter. I think it helps the two batters stay separate. Now I'm going to put my bread into the oven. My oven is preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. My bread took 21 minutes to bake. I'd recommend setting a timer for 20 minutes and another for a few more minutes if it isn't done yet. When it's done, the bread should be fully baked in the center. To check this, you can press your finger lightly into it and see if it bounces back up. If it does, it's done. You can also use a cake tester or a knife, and if it comes back without any raw batter on it, it's done. I'm going to put my bread on a cooling rack so it can cool. And our apple cinnamon bread is done and looking delicious. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments and how the recipe went for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can see when new videos are added. Thank you and enjoy!